looking back, you can honestly see your points of growth when you look back at old content.
It's literally kind of like a diary for myself. Outsiders probably can't tell, but I can tell exactly when I pivoted in my life.
Okay.
Just looking at my content.
Just looking at
how I shot it, what type of captions I wrote, what I was focusing on at the time.
Yeah.
I could totally tell. Well, at least for me. I could tell where I changed and pivoted and grew out of things.
Yo, thanks for locking in and welcome to the Jyim Life Podcast. Today, my guest is a special friend of mine who I've been training for a few years now, Lisa Lynn from Long Beach, California. Lisa is a lifestyle and wellness blogger with a super passionate approach to mental wellness. Today, we're going to talk about her career as an influencer and some of those expectations. Let's vibe out.
Yo, Jyim.
You.
What up?
What up? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, man. So, ready to get our workout on today?
Yeah, I'm ready for you to kill me.
Yeah, I mean, that's usually how it goes. Like, what I love during our sessions is that during the session, like, this is tough, but you always come back.
I do. I always feel better afterwards, too.
Afterwards.
Like, you come in, you're like, and then you leave, you feel better, you feel powerful,
yes.
more empowered.
You're like, this is okay. You have to remind myself, I'm going to feel better after. I'm going to feel better after. And I have to commend you because what people may not see I guess they see someone when they look at your page is the leaps and bounds and progress that you've done with the boxing training.
They don't even know how long I've been with you on and off, not even consistently. It's like since 2017, but it's not even consistent. So everyone's like, oh my God, that's a long time. It's like, no, I ghosted you for about half of that time. Then came back.
Came back stronger.
I came back stronger. I've been consistent for last year now, so.
Oh, it's true. It's true. I can attest to that.
I can
attest to that. I'll go up just a little bit. So your main source of income, your hustle, your passion is as an influencer.
Yes.
Okay, I have a bunch of questions about that because I mean, you come in always, and what I love is like during our sessions how quickly you set everything up, and then after I look back, I'm like, how did she do that in that time? So we're gonna have to talk about that.
That comes with time and experience. I mean, I've been doing it since 2012. So I've been doing it like right at the cusp of it when bloggers were just coming out. And like people are like, what the fuck are you doing? It took quite a long time to get to where I am.
Quite a long time to get to that point of experience.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so for today, our workout, we're going to have 5 exercises.
Ooh, okay.
Each one is going to be 10 reps. Any leftover time, we're still going to be chopping it up, talking. We're going to be on our back for crunches. Those will be 10.
Okay.
For our plank knee tucks, we'll be here in a plank position. And then the knee tucks will go in one at a time for 10.
Got it.
After the plank knee tucks, then we're going to go into reverse crunches.
Oh, my favorite.
You love those, right?
Yeah.
After reverse crunches, we got squats for 10. Then after that, we're just going to go 10 punches. 1, 2, 3, 4, down to 10.
Okay.
All right? So I'm going to start the clock, and then we're going to get cracking with our warm-up.
Okay.
All right?
Let's go.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, it's legit.
Right? As it comes on.
So air fly?
Air flies where we go back for our warm-up.
Okay.
Yep, just driving back. There you go. Okay, so you started in 2012.
Yep.
What was that like? What was that decision, or was it something that just came to you?
I've always loved writing, and for like the real OGs that grew up in the 90s, you know what Zanga and Life Journal is? So I started there.
Okay.
And then from there, kind of progressed to like, you got MySpace, you got Facebook, and then you got a blog, and then you had Instagram. And so I actually was not a firm believer in Instagram when it first came out. I thought it was going to be like a quick little trendy thing and disappear. So I kind of refused on it for a while.
So you're probably on Facebook at that time.
Yeah, I was. I was on Facebook talking shit about Instagram.
That's funny.
Little did I know it was going to be my career.
That was going to be the thing.
Yeah, no, I always loved writing. And so from there, it was just something of a creative outlet for me. Like I loved photography, I loved writing, then combined the two on Instagram. And 2012, people didn't know what it was,
Right.
So they were just like, what are you doing? What is this thing? No one believed in it really. They thought it was just like a little gimmick that was gonna go away, and now it's like a huge multi-million marketing industry.
Right, where I've heard like there's so many programs actually teaching it now.
Yes,
right?
they are. There's like master classes. There are. I think there are actual some colleges that are teaching how to be an influencer.
Wow.
It's crazy. I had a client tell me that her daughter wants to be an influencer when she graduates.
When she graduates.
Yeah.
College. Wow.
Yeah. Like that was non-existent back in my day.
But now what I wonder is how do we tell the difference, right?
Yeah.
Because there's so many people that I say on, and then next we're gonna go adductor, so we'll go side to side.
Okay.
Once you go side to side once, then we'll reach down.
Okay. So one set and then down.
That's how you and then down. We'll go right here and then down. So I see so many people on Instagram, whether they may be promoting products or talking about themselves, whatever.
Yeah.
And the term influencer, how would you define it?
My opinion, I think an influencer is someone who is able to bring their online presence offline and then sell physical products or use their imagery to be able to actually sell something. Versus a content creator who is creating content for a specific brand for brand awareness and marketing.
Okay.
So numbers, just because you have a high follower amount doesn't equate to sales.
Right. So it's like your followers have to be engaged.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You have to have a very engaged community for you to sell. So you can have 30K engaged people and sell more than like somebody that has 200K who literally is just posting like selfies or whatever.
Big difference.
Yeah, there is a difference.
And so I'm assuming that it comes with some struggles, right? And then
Yes.
we're going to lunge twist. So we'll go here. Turn. What are some of the expectations of you as an influencer that have been somewhat of a struggle and things that you've like grown and learned how to, let's say, deal with as they come to you?
I mean, there's quite a few. Where do I even start? There's like the expectation that we're available 24/7 for people, that we're just literally an open book. And there's a fine line between, how much you share, right?
Yeah.
Between how much you want to keep public and private. And that's always like an issue too, where when you're online, everyone just wants to know your business. Everyone's nosy, first of all.
Yeah.
In general.
And they think just because you share something that you're going to share everything.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And there's a lot I share, but there's a lot that I just
That you don't share.
don't share for my own sanity and my own boundaries.
Then we'll go squats. And then, I mean, even working with you, it's when I see your personality on Instagram versus being around you for training, I could see somebody thinking like, oh, she's, super like social. And just loves sharing
Let me
everything.
just say, antisocial people thrive online, okay?
Thrive online.
We thrive online because we're talking to a camera, not to actual people. And it's like a comfort level. At least for me, I have social anxiety sometimes.
Okay.
And so it's easier for me to talk into a camera or to film myself than it is to like go to an event and actually make small conversations. I also don't like small talk. Like, it's a waste of time for me.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Like, that's the least I know.
Yeah.
Because we'll come in, we get right to work.
Yeah.
We maybe talk it up, talk about some rap, but then we're working, right?
Yeah.
Versus someone may see you on there and think like, oh, she's ready to talk and engage all day, every day.
No.
Which is...
I have a
Which is
social
not the
battery
case.
meter, and it's not very high.
All right, we're going to go onto our back now. We're going to go for crunches.
Exercise.
So, this way. And then what we'll do is we'll have both legs up here, and then we'll reach up for 10.
Okay.
Right? So we'll go 10, 9, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good.
Ooh, this burns.
And then we'll turn right around this way, and we're going to go knee tuck. So we're going to bring one knee in at a time.
Okay.
Is there anything that you've learned since 2012 that you feel like you wish you knew a little bit earlier, or you just feel like it's a key moment of growth?
I honestly think the entire journey has been all learning lessons. Because, 2012, we had no information about this industry. We had no idea what to expect, how long it'll be around,
Back onto the back.
and like what we could do with it,
Right.
let alone make a full-time career out of it.
Right.
So I mean, everything I've learned came with time and came with obviously growth of the industry itself. So I don't know. I think the only thing I wish I learned sooner was maybe self-confidence.
Self-confidence.
Yeah. And like being more authentic right off the bat.
And good. I'm going to do squats.
Oh.
Good?
Yeah.
And then squats will just get 10. So you said being more authentic?
Yeah. So I think for me, it was a whole healing journey in which I'm still on in terms of like finding who I am. And when you're young and you're in your 20s, it's obviously about exploration and discovery. So if you scroll back all the way down at like even 3 years ago, I'm not the same person that I was.
Right.
And so,
Good. We'll go punch
you know,
10.
everything I did was just based on my current situation and who I was and where I was at that time.
So I guess looking back, you can honestly see your points of growth when you look back at old content.
It's literally kind of like a diary for myself. I mean, outsiders probably can't tell, but I can tell exactly when I pivoted in my life.
Okay.
Just looking off at my content.
Just looking at
how I shot it, what type of captions I wrote, what I was focusing on at the time.
Yeah.
I could totally tell. Well, at least for me, I could tell where I changed and pivoted and grew out of things.
So it's almost, and then if you would speak to anyone, like, so let's say the person who says daughter when they graduate college is to be an influencer. So
you know what my first immediate reaction to that in my head
is?
Don't do it.
Don't you do it.
Don't do it.
But you know, what it makes me think about is this. I had a friend that wanted to be a trainer, right? And he's like, I'm going to be a trainer. Then as I started talking to him, I learned why he wanted to be a trainer. It's because he wanted to work with pretty girls. I'm like, bro, no. Like, no. That's not why you want to be. Stop. Like, that's not why you.
That's how you end up in jail.
Thank you. Right.
What?
And I was like, bro, first it's like you're gonna have to learn the anatomy. You have to learn the anatomy and the way it functions. And when I mean anatomy, we're talking about the names of the muscles and this, and then you're talking about learning all these kind of like, you know, heart and blood, everything, of nutrition. And then after you take this test, then you have to make sure that you're not injuring people. And you shouldn't be looking for one particular type of client, right? Like, you should be looking to work with people and help them. And like, I think the amount of work sometimes when people get in, it shocks them.
No, exactly. And I think that's still the misconception to this day, even though we've been around for, 10 years, roughly. Industry's still new. 10 years is still considered new, right?
Yeah.
We're still learning, we're still growing. It's ever changing no matter what. Like, there's new platforms coming out. But everyone sees, obviously, the glam side of it. It's like, oh my God, you get free stuff. You go to these cool events. You go on these brand trips. You, like, get to post photos. Like, so easy.
Right.
But behind the scenes of it, it's like, you're your own accountant. So you better make sure your taxes are right every year because they don't take your taxes out for you automatically. You're 1099. You got to make sure you have a content schedule. You got to plan out your content. Who's shooting your content? You got to get the equipment. That's not cheap. I mean, you can use your iPhone. iPhone does amazing stuff, too. But if you're like looking to invest in a camera equipment, that's not cheap. Nice. So you're producing, you're editing, you're scripting, you're writing captions, you're engaging with your community. And that's not even into the marketing side of it. Then you got to like network and build brand partnerships and like have genuine connections with people within the community.
Everything. But then also too, what I see you doing is how much time you put into the filming and editing and the attention to detail and the consistency.
That alone takes half a day.
Right? And then even, like, we've had little conversations where I think you wanted me to post something small. I'm trying to figure out how to do it. Like, and it's like, it takes
let's just make it known that Jyim is not good with social media at all. But it's also kind of like a gift, right? Because then you're not worried about how to perform or look or whatever. Your clientele base is like word of mouth and just general referrals, which is amazing.
Right.
Which is a blessing because a lot of people are relying on social media marketing. You could end up spending so much money on ads too.
Right.
So you're blessed.
Right. In that sense, yeah. But I think in that case, it's because even when a lot of trainers will put a lot of time and effort into social media, I put my time and effort into my clients.
Yeah, you do.
Right? Like, I'm like, this is where my energy is. Like, if you want to do an extra session, let's go. If you have questions, let me go research it and get back to you.
Jyim lives at the gym, guys. 24/7. He's here for you.
All the time.
All the time.
And enjoy it.
Yeah.
Right? But that goes back to, like, with you, how much time and effort you put into your craft, right?
But I think for me, what I've learned to love and kind of intertwine with it is it's become a part of my lifestyle. Like it's so natural for me to like, I always have my camera on me, but when I choose to film and when I don't film is like completely up to me. Right. I've gotten to the point after being in this industry for 10 years is like, I get to choose. And you don't get that luxury when you first start off, right? When I first started off, I was still working a full-time job, a 9 to 5. I was like finishing up just a couple of classes in school for college. And then I had my social life, my relationship. So it was balancing that and then doing all the content stuff on the weekends or at night after work. So I was up and I slept maybe 4 hours, 5 hours.
Right.
So like when you're working your way up, you don't get the luxury to have balance.
Yeah.
You have to focus and get up there to the point where you're like, okay, I can relax a little bit.
You know what I'm hearing that I think is so important that anybody knows is that you don't go from 0 to 60 without that in between.
No.
So you were working a job, you were getting 4 hours of sleep, you were still always on making sure your content was there and up to par. So you don't just all of a sudden wake up one day with, 90K followers.
No,
like, no,
absolutely not. I was stuck at 90K for like 5 years. I literally just hit 100K like last fall, and then since then it's like gotten easier. Like I'm at 153 now. So, but it took me a very long time. I was stuck there, and then like I purposely put myself there because there was a point where there were so many bots and active accounts that were just ruining my engagement rate. So I took a step back, spent about a month, and went through my entire followers list and just deleted accounts that I knew were bots or like inactive and just cleared my account.
Wow.
And most people won't do that because it's like a little ego trip, right?
Little trip, because I can
like, oh, I don't want to, decrease my numbers. Like that doesn't make sense. But when you look at the quality, and you want the quality because that's what brands are looking at in return. Right. Like it's better just take away what's not serving you.
Right. We're back to crunches.
Yeah.
So it's that understanding that sometimes you have to take a step back in order to take a step forward.
Yep.
All right. We'll go 10, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. I'm going to the knee tucks. Ooh. So you went and you started deleting bot accounts?
Yes.
Okay.
Inactive accounts, bot accounts, just so that my engagement rate could be better. And honestly, it helped a lot because I ended up getting more partnerships because my engagement rate was higher despite my following count was lower.
So that's almost, and go to reverse crunches. So that's that idea of not focusing just on like this idea that the more followers I get or higher numbers I get, that's better. It has to be quality.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always quality over quantity.
Then we'll go to squat. And I think I guess they see if they follow your page, you have an amazingly cool support system and a husband.
I do.
Right?
I do.
Ken, huh?
I do. I'm very, very blessed. Like Ken my husband has literally been there since the beginning. He's watched me build my website like 3 a.m. Watch me basically grow the brand from day one and been my biggest supporter. Wow. And I was fortunate enough to, catch somebody that is also a professional photographer.
Helps a little.
It helps a little. However, we did have to have set boundaries.
Okay.
Where I film everything myself now, you end up learning and progressing, and we have different visions sometimes when it comes to filming. So, and I'm not good at explaining, so I'll just rather do it myself. But he still helps once in a while. But as you grow and progress, you kind of want to just take the vision on yourself and control it.
Yeah. So even with somebody who's just you guys have great conversations, you get each other, but still sometimes your vision is going to be your vision.
Yeah. And it's hard to explain to other people sometimes. What you see literally in your mind can't be put in words. So then you just do it yourself.
Oh, it happens all the time.
I know you get it.
Oh, yeah. It happens all the time. Even sometimes you can't even blame the listener.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's been certain times where there's a direction I want to go, and it's a creative direction.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm like, oh, okay, we should do this, and they're like, it doesn't make sense. I'm like, I know it doesn't make sense. Just let me do it and finish it. Yeah. Right, which requires you to be proactive and diligent, and when you're executing it, make sure that you're putting all the legwork in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is. But I mean, it still comes down to a one-person team. Like, he doesn't work for me. He is just generous and gracious enough to help me when he can, when I ask.
Right.
But like, he's not an employee of mine.
Right,
It's still at the end of the day, it's just me. And I'm fortunate enough to have a really amazing manager who handles all the negotiations and the contracts and the pitching for me.
Oh, yeah. That's real. So now it's having that team in place, what a lot of people don't see. So I mean, a lot of times, like, we'll watch sports, right? We'll see Floyd Mayweather win all these fights, but they don't know that he has a trainer, manager, all these people in place that all you're going to see is this. Yeah. So the importance of having a good team when you're dealing with social media is important,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, you want your creative person to be creative and have the time to be creative. So anything you can outsource it. Outsource it, because that money you will get back so easily if you can just do what you're good at and let everyone handle whatever they're good at.
All the other stuff.
Yes.
All the other stuff. So, is there anything that you have been hesitant to share, but you did share it? So I'll elaborate a little more. I had
you're trying to make me tell my dirty secrets?
I know, right? Well, I just want to touch on things you've shared already.
Okay.
So it's already documented, right? But I had one time a guest on. He was talking about a book that he wrote, and in the book, he left out details of his personal life that he went back later and put in. Because it took away from the impact and the genuineness of it. So I want to know, is there anything that you shared already, right? That before you shared it, you were like, I don't know if I want to share it.
There's a lot. I mean, my journey has been a very long one. And so like I talked about straight from the get-go, like about my depression, my suicidal ideations that I've dealt with in my early 20s, mid-20s. I've talked about being anxious, social anxiety. So I've talked about all those things because it's a part of me and a part of my branding in terms of like mental wellness, well-being, and speaking up and advocating, especially for the Asian American community when it comes to mental health. But like, I was scared as hell sharing all that stuff because my parents just started social media. My in-laws have social media. And so like, in my head, I was just like, oh my God, they're going to read it. And then they're going to be confused because I've never talked about my childhood trauma with my parents. I still haven't. I talked about it with a therapist. So I'm working on it.
It'll get there.
I'll get there. But like, you know, that I can just imagine them reading it. Like my younger siblings reading it for the first time, not knowing what I went through growing up. So that part was obviously really, really scary. But then a part of me also was like, I have to talk about it because this is kind of my indirect way of addressing it, especially with my family. Like being from a Chinese American family, you don't talk about your feelings. You don't express yourself. My husband was the one that initiated and started the whole hugging. Like we never hugged. My husband came and he just started hugging my parents. And so they just started embracing it. But like we've never had any of that stuff growing up. So it was just like kind of my way to release, but also like, I understand, I forgive you, but here's also like what happened to me growing up. So that obviously is scary because then you also never know what other relatives are online.
Or old friends or anything like that.
Who are just like, what the fuck?
Wow.
And same with bullying. Like I got bullied in elementary school, middle school, and a lot of my friends didn't really understand the impact it had on me. They just thought it was like, oh, it's just like a little thing, like he made fun of you or whatever. But it's like, that shit hurts.
So, okay, so that's something that you were hesitant. I mean, there's a few things that you were hesitant to bring out. But you know what that made me think about is what you said earlier about people wanting you to overshare. But so it seems like as long as it's in line with what your mission is, and then it's also in line with whatever your truth is, then okay, then I'll share it, right? I'm not going to share something just for the sake of sharing.
Oh, no.
Right?
Absolutely not. I'm not doing bait clicks. We're not doing that shit. It's like the stories I share are literally my own personal journey, my stories, my experiences.
Right, that are in line with what the message you're trying to push out.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
Like, I'm not going to tell you what I had for dinner or whatever. That has like nothing to do with anything.
It has nothing to do with it,
Dying.
And then we're up in the squats. That's good.
I told you this thing was going to go flying off of me.
Oh, I thought that was your way of buying more time in between the workout. Like, oh, my mic's down.
This is my break.
We used to do when we played basketball and we would get tired.
You injure yourself?
Well, we would unlace our shoes.
Oh.
so I was like, oh, coach, give me a second.
I thought you would just exaggerate your falls.
Oh,
to give yourself time.
So that's really cool to know that it's like for the sake of the message, because you're not sharing just to get followers. You're sharing in order to connect with people, reach people, so that they don't have to deal with the same things that you did growing up. Or if they are dealing with it, they know that there's somebody that they connect with.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I want the right audience. I don't want just the general mass. I want the people that understand and connect with my content, and it'll help them in some way. Like, I always think that it's better to like follow people that actually bring you joy, teach you something. Or it's like, you know, you can have entertainment accounts too, but there should never be a reason or a point that you're following somebody that makes you feel bad about yourself.
Right. So just, I guess, to give me a better understanding is each influencer, and we're talking about influencers who put the work in and take the craft seriously.
Yeah.
They are standing for something, even if it's just to entertain you.
Yeah.
Right, so you kind of want to, and I don't want to stay on brand, but you want to stay true to who you are and what you want to put out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So would you say that there's people out there, if they're going for the sake of just getting numbers up or getting clicks, right? What's a good way to redirect them or have them adopt a different approach?
If it burns you out or stresses you out easily, it's not for you.
It's not for you.
It's not for you. Because your passion should be your motivational factor, right?
Right.
And then you put in the hard work and consistency on top of that.
Right.
That's like the formula to success.
Yeah.
In terms of like what type of success though.
Right.
Like success is, you know, different for everybody. So depends on what your goal is. Figure out your goal, figure out your why. Yeah. And then put in the work for it, and don't expect things to happen overnight, because nothing happens overnight.
Nothing. You were at 90 for
years.
I
was stuck, and then I went down to 85, and then I grew, and you know, it's been a steady growth, and I've been doing it since 2012. I know there are people that do grow overnight, especially like when TikTok first came out and everyone started, you know, growing really fast on it, and it's great and amazing. And TikTok actually opened up the whole another world in terms of like being vulnerable and being yourself and being authentic and not having things scripted or not having to focus too much on like high quality camera stuff. Okay. So that also helped us push us in I would say a healthier direction. Okay. In terms of social media.
So, but you know what you just made me think about is maybe the importance of not paying attention to everybody else's growth.
Yeah.
Have you felt yourself?
Oh my God, yeah. I literally did like 3 weeks ago. Okay. Like my manager had to talk to me.
Somebody jump on the scene and they're like, boom, and they're out of here.
No, and I mean, I'm going to admit that, yes, I do compare with my peers sometimes. Like, I'll be like, oh my God, that person's like doing so well in terms of like engagement. Like, what the hell happened to mine? And you get stuck in your head. And for me, like, spiraling down is probably the worst thing for me to do. So I got to reach out to like my spiritual guru. I got to reach out to Elsa. I got to like come in for training because I need to clear my mind. I need to focus on ways to ground myself so I don't get caught up in that. But I still do every once in a while. Because you can't help it. Because sometimes you're scrolling, it's like, oh shit, that person like grew like 10K all of a sudden. It's like, oh damn, like what am I doing wrong?
This shit sucks.
Yeah, it's like,
get to work. We gotta fix this.
Doing? And then, you know, you go in panic mode. It's like, oh shit, I gotta like create more content or whatever. But then overworking is like already like the peak of downfalling. Yeah. In that sense, because you're like not even putting time and effort into the content. You're just trying to like push something out, thinking that it's gonna go viral.
Yeah. That makes sense. So it's like you definitely can't get caught up in that.
Yeah.
And either way, we'll go back to crunches.
Yeah.
In the sense of you getting in for the wrong reasons, or once you get in and doing well, seeing somebody jump off the scene and being like, how do I get these numbers?
Exactly.
Then we'll go plank knee tuck.
Oh my God, I'm dying.
We're on our last round. Yeah, we got the knee tucks here. There you go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. The reverse crunches. So in those moments, what I like is your ability to not deny the feeling, right?
No.
As far as like we all know what it's like when we have a particular goal, then we see somebody perceivably reach that goal before us, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, good, and we're up to squats. So it's like, all right, I want to get to, this many followers and get this much engagement, whatever it is, and then somebody like gets there much quicker, right? And then
it makes you feel shitty. It's human. It's feelings, right?
It's
no matter
feelings.
what, emotions, feelings, you're gonna feel it. Feel what you feel, and then get right back to work and change that mindset in the sense of like, instead of like, oh my God, that person got 10K in such a short time. It's like, oh shit, I can do it too because they did it.
Yeah.
It's like that little tiny shift.
Yeah.
Of like switching it from like what you don't have to what's possible.
Yeah, and making it as a learning experience.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll go squats now. Is there anybody that, whether it's when you first started or now, that you looked up to? Like, you're like, oh, you know what? I love their message. I love how consistent they are. Like, this is somebody I would just love to meet and talk to.
It's funny. The two people that I absolutely adore their content and love them are actually, they started on YouTube, I think.
They started on YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And like, I cannot do YouTube for the life of me.
Okay.
But hey, Claire Marshall. From the very beginning, her videos have always been so unique. I loved her take on everything she did. And even though she's not as active anymore, she's creating for brands. But whatever she still puts out is still, you can get the emotion, you feel the mood, the vibe for it. And I'm always inspired by her stuff.
And you love how genuine it is.
I just love how genuine it is.
Right.
It's great. And then the second person is Andy To. Oh my God. His videography, his cinematography, his storyline. So good.
So good.
So good. Every time I'm just like, how the fuck did you do that? Because sometimes he'll be filming on iPhone 14s. Looks cinematic as fuck. So good. His storylines are always so good. He's so good.
So it evokes an emotion.
Yes. Always.
What I like about the two people you said, it wasn't like because they were this famous or like this.
Absolutely
it's like,
not.
right? It's like just the fact of people who almost know how to connect with you, right?
Yeah.
Which all you can just hope for is not hope for, all you can have your intention be is to be in your truth, and it'll reach people that genuine.
Yeah. I mean, those two, their creative eye, they're so different in that sense where like one was more focused on beauty and fashion, and then Andy's more on like travel and storylines. But yet, like the two, literally, I can relate to it no matter what they put out. There's still like a relation point to it. And then also the time and effort they put into it. None of the two have ever pushed something just to push something out.
Just to push something out.
Yeah, they've always put intention behind every post and every video.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so you said one was beauty and fashion, and the other one was?
Storyline, tourism, travel.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you say your niche would be?
Wellness and lifestyle. Intentional lifestyle and mental well-being.
Intentional lifestyle and mental well-being.
Yes.
Okay, so how would you say your new healthy obsession with boxing has helped? Because I've seen you've been documenting a lot more about it.
I have.
Which is cool.
That's a lot of more of like my Virgo Capricorn placements where I just like want to look at myself and fix it so that the next time I come in I can fix it. Right. The perfectionism side of it. Yeah. But it honestly, it's to the point where I've gotten so obsessed that I feel when I'm not here, my whole mental is thrown off. Because I was doing therapy for a while. Therapy was great. I love my therapist. She was amazing. But then I got to the point where I was like, okay, I went to grad school for a year and a half for psychotherapy too.
I remember that. Okay.
Yeah, for a little bit. So then like I have the resources and everything. And I feel like I can manage most of the downfalls pretty well at this point. But I still need that physical outlet. And like moving your body obviously helps 1,000%. Yeah. So when I come in, I'm just like zoned out, focused, trying to just get my shit in. But I feel like this huge relief every time I leave because I feel like I just let off a load without even have to verbally saying anything. Yeah. Like I don't have to say my feelings. I could just punch through it. Get through it. And then like I had a damn good session and I just feel clearer when I leave.
Yeah, and you can see it to our cool down now. So we'll get back to Airfly. So it's funny because one thing I can say is that when we're having our sessions, and especially when we're going over like technique or skill or proper form, whatever it is, whether we're lifting or boxing, it's that moment where you're like, I want to get this right.
Yep.
Right? And now it's almost like an active meditation.
It is.
And we spoke about meditation before.
It's 1,000% right? My active meditation, because I can't, as much as I try, I can't sit and meditate for 30 minutes just in a lotus position. Kudos to anybody who can. I just cannot get to that point. Yeah. And I know if I try more and more, it comes with practice, right? But I would rather do an active one, just because for me, it's like a instant gratification in a way, where like I come in for that hour and then I feel amazing afterwards, and my body and my mind feels a lot clearer.
And you can see it. You can see it. And I think even those days when we have the sessions where you don't feel like you're getting it as quickly as you normally do, it takes those to almost put you in like a higher level of focus. And then you always follow it up with something, right? Like something strong, which is cool.
Yes. I think also for me, I love challenges. So boxing is like, there is no like, you get to this point and you're done. You're always learning. There's always some sort of challenge. There's always an obstacle. And there's always different opponents that have different styles. So no matter what, you're learning. And I think for me, that's like kind of crucial in my overall journey.
You know what I wanted to ask you too is working with different people who want you like to push their product.
I think you already know the answer to that. I have no problem saying no. But that comes with the years of experience.
Okay.
Because when I first started out, obviously I was focused on money.
Right.
I wanted money. I needed to pay my rent. I needed to like pay my bills. So I would take almost everything.
Right. Talking teddy bear. Let's go.
What are we doing? No, there's some things I look back on. I'm like, oh, okay. But now I have the privilege from the years of working and the experiences to say no and to pass up on things.
Right.
So I have no problem saying no to something that does not align with me or my branding or my messaging.
So in the beginning, would you think it's more important to be discerning or for you just to kind of keep the revenue coming, or kind of like in between?
I think there's a little bit in between. It depends on everyone's situation, right? Like if you're about to be evicted and you get presented a deal that's going to pay your rent for the month, and you have no other options, fuck it.
Yeah, do it. You need to do it. It's important.
Yeah, do it.
Right.
I mean, as long as it's not like some dangerous diet pill situation.
Right, something crazy.
That's like crazy or that's harmful to people. Then, do it.
Right.
Practice discernment, but do it in a way that makes sense for you.
That makes sense. So it's always kind of striking that balance as far as like, okay, I do need to make money in order to take care of myself, in order to keep doing this. But if I have the opportunity to be discerning, then I should be, and make sure everything is in alignment with myself, what I want to put out there. And
here's the other thing. I know people will be like, well, then just get a job, right?
Okay.
Get a job, get some other source of income. Then if you can, yes, then do it. But if you wholeheartedly believe, like, I want to do this, I want to be an influencer, I want to be a content creator, whatever, and you want to dedicate 100% of your time to it, then then stick with it and see how it goes. But also, like, be realistic.
Right.
Like, if you haven't made money in 6 months, maybe look into a part-time job.
Right.
And that's the other thing. I've been told that too when I started. When I wasn't making enough money and I was going through, I got like 2 eviction notices. And then it was like, okay, shit, I'm gonna pick up a job or whatever, and get through. That you do what you got to do to get by.
Right. While you're staying true and while you're building.
Yeah.
Because that's gonna take time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's cool. Has there been any with your teammate there and husband, Ken? Has he gave you any good advice over the years?
Surprisingly, he's really good at.
Surprisingly, really.
No, he's really good at actually reading people, so he can tell me whether or not like a certain manager or team or like what brand, whatever, whoever has encountered me, what like their character in a sense. So like for me, I like to see the good in people. So and that has led me to a really long track record of friends.
Oh.
And you know, a lot of them end up taking advantage of you or whatever, using your resources and stuff. You know, karma, whatever, onto you.
Yeah.
But he's always been like good at kind of like flagging it, and I just refuse to listen. So, you know.
But it's, as you say that, I've always stressed the importance of just having good people around you as far as your inner circle.
Yeah.
Because we don't have the ability to see everything.
No, we don't.
Right?
And
so
sometimes you have to go through that whole friendship.
To get your
learn.
team.
Yeah.
And
get to, like, the people I have in my life right now, solid. 100% solid.
Yeah.
Like, they're great. They're like ride or dies. I know I can count on them, but you know, it took 10 years.
Right. Time.
It took time.
To get there.
It took time, for sure. For sure.
It's dope. All right. Well, I want to thank you for coming through and working out with me in this heat, as I know that it is difficult for you, but we were able to get it done. And then I will see you soon on the training sessions.
Yes. Thank you.